A fresh controversy is erupting around the Justice Department's release of the Jeffrey Epstein Files. A watchdog group now says key communications from Trump administration officials are missing and wants answers. A government watchdog group is demanding an explanation from the U.S. Justice Department over its handling of millions of pages tied to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The Democracy Defenders Fund has filed a formal complaint alleging the department improperly narrowed the scope of documents released under the Epstein Files Transparency Act. The group says more than 2 million pages were made public, but none include communications from Attorney General Pam Bondi, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, and FBI Director Kash Patel. In its complaint, the watchdog calls that absence deeply troubling, noting all three officials have publicly addressed Epstein-related issues and played central roles in releasing the records. The group argues that if the law were followed as written, the Epstein archive should contain extensive communications from those officials. Instead, the complaint suggests the documents were withheld, destroyed, or so heavily redacted that they cannot be traced. AG Bondi, DAG Blanche, and FBI Director Patel have spoken extensively on issues related to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. They have been at the very center of the DOJ's response, or lack thereof, to congressional and public calls for production of the Epstein files. If the DOJ were adhering to the broad scope of the EFTA, the Epstein library should be replete with their communications. It is not. The final batch of files was released Friday, more than a month after Congress's deadline, and included heavy redactions and unverified FBI tip line information. Some of those tips made claims involving President Donald Trump, though Trump has denied wrongdoing and has not been convicted of any Epstein-related crime. Deputy Attorney General Blanche says the department complied with the law and did not shield anyone, including the president. He added that members of Congress are free to review unredacted materials, but acknowledged public demand for answers may remain unsatisfied. The watchdog group argues the law was designed to maximize disclosure with limited exemptions for victim privacy, national security, and active investigations. It says those exemptions should not apply to leadership communications now missing from the public record. The Justice Department has pushed back, calling the allegations a tired narrative and insisting it produced more than 3.5 million pages in full compliance with the law. Now the Democracy Defenders Fund is calling for an immediate audit by the DOJ's Inspector General to determine whether the department fully complied with Congress's mandate. So far, the Inspector General's office has not commented.
Mr. Epstein, how long have you been sexually attracted to underage minor females?
Are you kidding?
What was the name of any of the underage minors that were the subject of the criminal charges to which you pled guilty?
I don't know.
You don't know what you pled guilty to?
I pled guilty to solicitation of prostitution. Oh, not underage prostitution, but prostitution.
Are all people that were, at the time you engaged in sexual activity with them, were underage and were brought by other underage minor females? Is that true?
I don't understand. I'm sorry, I don't even understand the question.
Mr. Epstein, how long have you been sexually attracted to underage minor females?
Objection, harassing, argumentative.
Are you kidding?
No, I mean, I don't feel like I'm divulging any secrets here, right?
Move to strike.
No, that's the question.
I'd like to answer that question as well, like all your other questions today. However, I have to follow my attorney's advice. They have told me that I must invoke my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment right to not answer those questions today or any questions relevant to this lawsuit.
What was the name of any of the underage minors that were the subject of the criminal charges to which you pled guilty?
I don't know.
So tell me about those charges. What was the allegations of those charges?
Form.
Solicitation of prostitution.
Okay.
Not underage prostitution, prostitution.
Were the victims or the prostitutes, as you would say, were they minors?
Form.
I pled guilty to solicitation of prostitution.
Okay, so tell me what those cases were about. What happened?
I
Form
have no
again.
more. I can't tell you any more than that.
You don't know what you pled guilty to?
I just
I'm
told you.
going to object to
Sorry.
form. That's asked and answered.
Do you know what you pled guilty to? The facts.
Solicitation of prostitution.
I understand that's the charge. What were the underlying facts?
Sorry.
What did you do? Did you pull up in a car, talk to the person? Did they come over to your house? How did you get them? Those kind of things. Tell the jury what were the underlying facts about the charge that you pled guilty to.
Form. Move to strike.
I don't know.
You don't know what you pled guilty to.
I pled guilty to solicitation of prostitution. Oh, not underage prostitution, but prostitution.
And just so the jury understands, these three females that were the subject of the guilty pleas in state court were procured by your method of having underage minor females locate other underage minor females and bring them to your house. Isn't that correct?
Objection. Argumentative, compound, harassing, assumes facts not in evidence.
You'll have to
And I move
repeat.
to strike.
I have to repeat the question.
Okay. Are all people that were, at the time you engaged in sexual activity with them, were underage and were brought by other underage minor females? Is that true?
Same objections incorporated, as well as the motion to strike.
I don't understand. I'm sorry, I don't even understand the question.
Isn't it true that you used underage minor females to bring other underage minor females to your house for sex?
Asked and answered. Way earlier on.
Oh, well, he doesn't understand the question, so I'm
You can answer
going
the
through the
question if you understand.
progression.
Not a problem.
But it is asked and answered.
As your firm, Mr. Edwards and Mr. Jaffe, has been described by the U.S. Attorney as perpetrating one of the largest frauds in South Florida's history by crafting malicious cases of a sexual nature against people like me and others in order to fleece, using bogus schemes, in the U.S. Attorney's words, investment schemes. Unfortunately, though, I'd like to answer every one of your questions if I'm able. My attorneys have advised me I must assert my 6th Amendment, 14th Amendment, and 5th Amendment rights under the U.S. Constitution. Therefore, at the moment, I cannot answer that question.